Alright. What's up, everybody? We are here with a banging Protoss vs Zerg series from the Team Liquid Star League 9. It's an upper bracket match between Reynor, the Zerg player that, of course, has been on a roll, the hybrid. We're gonna have to start calling him no longer the Italian Stallion, but the hybrid, and facing his off race, this is Alpha X Astrea. I mean, it's not really his off race anymore, and say that the amount Reynor has been playing Protoss. It's one of his main ones, but Astrea is a very creative player and a player who I think was man-made for the post-Void Ray meta because he's a master of mass ground, getting ahead and grinding his opponent down. Going to be going for the gateway and also, of course, denying Reynor's natural there, gets the probe on time, does block it, chases that drone for a moment, and then does go back to block. Reynor did send that worker out pretty much on time. Ends up with a 17 hatch in about 55 seconds. So definitely could have sent the drone out earlier. I think a lot of Protoss players that he's been facing, especially like Showtime and the like, not bothering to block recently. And so thought he could maybe get away with that. The probe does come in, does a bit of harassment. Reynor's just going to counter micro this. He's not actually sending a drone to attack it. So far, he's lost almost no mining time from it. Pretty perfect, dude. There we go. Making it a bit more difficult. You want to work both mineral patches just to confuse the drones, bounce them around as much as possible, but Reynor's handling that with beautiful execution. Finally, one gets bounced off a patch. Creates a ripple effect of having to stack those drones, but Reynor is too quick. Too quick. Only barely getting these drones bounced off for a second here or there. Not bad at all. Astrea does go for the Cybercore in the wall off. That's an awkward wall off, if you ask me. However, maybe he's planning to build another structure out front to reinforce the wall. The problem with this wall off is that you can't wall off behind it because the pylon is so close to here. So I think that pylon is misplaced. I would argue that's the case for Astrea, but he's going to go for that second gas, second pylon. Standard play for him. Third hatchery coming up on the third base. First queen does start up in the main, and he has built a bit of an earlier overlord than normal. He's gone for the 20 overlord this time around his Reynor, realizing that hatchery's up a little bit later. Two Zerglings coming on out. Now only two Zerglings and Ling speed starting up. Fully pulls off gas. Bit vulnerable to having a pylon placed here. I'd love to see Astrea actually pylon block that. It's not very common these days, but if he's always going two Zerglings, that would be the case, that it's a good move. Of course, two more Zerglings do start up, and that puts paid to that one. The Stargate starting in the main base. Now, he actually chronoed the Adept, which usually tells us that Adept will come across the map. This probe will be heading home as well. So, Adept shades forward, second Adept on the way as well. No chrono boost on that one. Notice he's chrono boosting the probes and isn't going to be able to chrono the Oracle until he gets 50 energy back on this Nexus in about 30 seconds. So it's going to be a very slight delay on the Oracle, not a major one, but will make a very small impact. One Adept is already here, taking up residence between the bases. Now that second Adept is rallied between the gate and the core, so he's not planning to double Adept this. Remember that Ling speed normally finishes about 3 minutes 30. That's the magic timing. A hatch gas pool, so a hatchery first build. 3:30 is when you need to be out of here. And it looks like Astrea paying a lot of respect. I mean, he sees the third, he sees drones rallying out. All of these are big signs of aggression. Now, Astrea, of macro, sorry. They're signs of a normal game. The Void Ray's on the way. He's going to clean up that Void Ray, that Overlord. Void Ray first is really fascinating, though, because it's so expensive and it doesn't have the same impact of an Oracle. And seeing this so early, Reynor's not going to build spores because the Void Ray does not get across the map very quickly. Queens can defend it much easily. Because an Oracle's so much faster and does way more damage to workers, it can dart into a mineral line, zap 4, 5, 6 workers and get out of there. A Void Ray doesn't offer that same threat. The Void Ray, though, denies information. It's often the setup for a follow-up all-in. You get a Void Ray, you shut down their scouting, and bam, you've already got a Twilight, resonating glaives, and a whole bunch of gateways coming in for a surprise Adept attack, right? A crazy surprise charge lot all in where you've completely pulled off your gas geysers, massing gateways and going for that. That's what Void Ray often plays into. It can just be a safer setup for the Protoss as well, in that the Void Ray, it doesn't have an energy-based weapon. It can still do a bit of harassment. It can also push all these Overlords back and look for those. It can dart into the main and maybe grab a drone or two, hopefully distracting while this Oracle works its way down the left flank. So the Void Ray in the main, a bit of a distraction. Reynor is well set up right now, but look how tanky it is as well. Oh, good Spore trick. Void Ray barely loses anything beyond its shields. Oracle will come in, finds, okay, one Spore and one Queen, but very nice. The Queen popping just in time. Only gets a single drone there and a Spore trick in the main. And 4 minute 40 lair for Reynor. So 440 lair is not a bad timing. If Reynor wants to play mutas off this, he certainly could. And if there's one player who you'd love to play mutas against, it probably is Astrea. He macros really hard, but he doesn't like playing the heavy air. Oh, he's going for a charge style. Reynor gets 2 probes though. The Zerglings come in. Keep an eye on this. So this is very much an Astrea style build. Oh my god, another 2 Zerglings, or another 1 Zergling. The other one barely surviving. But he's going really quick +1. +1 is what allows you to trade very well versus Zerglings. Helps incrementally versus Roaches and Queens as well, of course. But without +1, Zealots can get surrounded by Zerglings and taken out reasonably easily, I would say. Obviously, if you have like a big pack of Zealots, they kind of stand shoulder to shoulder and the Zerglings can't really isolate them and gun them down. Here we go, Oracle on the right side. Double gas on the third. Double gas in the natural as well. And we've got more gateways coming up. So it's a bit of a later charge style. This is a really interesting one because he goes straight Templar Archives. Makes me feel like Astrea is going to be very Zealot Arc on aggression focused here. But I kind of wonder, is he really? Okay, Adepts are going to come in, but there are Queens out front. They are going to spot this well ahead of time. It's going to give him a bit of warning. Oracle almost goes down in the main, does throw down a tag. Adepts are going to shade in, and they are going to get at most 2 or 3 drones. Let's see what they get. 1, 2. Can they get a third one? Nah, I don't think so. Ah, the Spore Trick again. Reynor with those little details just looking absolutely fantastic now. The gateway count's coming on up, guys. Going up to 8 gateways and looking for a 4th base is Astrea. But an infestation pit's already on the way. Remember that Lurkers are the absolute destroyer of worlds. Speaking of which, the Queens walking off creep to the edge of the map managed to take that Oracle out. What a beautiful backdrop we've got over here, by the way, guys. I never realized. What is this? What is this? Is that like a bloody black hole or something over there? What's going on the back of this map? Let me know your theories in the comments on what the hell this is off the back of Cosmic Sapphire. It's like, oh, that's a Cosmic Sapphire. Maybe that's the name of the map. I don't know. Anyways, the Observer tries to set up between the bases. Reynor checks for it. How many games have we seen an Observer set up between the bases and see everything the Zerg's doing? And the reason that's so key is because you can tell, is it drones popping out? Is it army? What's happening? Oh, Reynor's got a lot of Roaches. Astrea does not see those Roaches. Those Archons need to get out of there. Run, son. Run. Get off creep. Luckily for him, Roach speed's not done, so we can't get chased down. He's going for a Robo Bay right now. He's up on 8 gateways. Robo Bay, his army is almost non-existent. 2 sentries, 2 Archons, and an Adept and a Void Ray. His Oracle died, remember, which takes away a lot of his scouting. However, he saw the Infestation Pit, so I think he can assume it's just going to be Lurkers, and that's why he's going Immortals, Stalker, plus Blink to support that army. Not the best first Lurkers, but good to support Disruptors. And of course, Robo Bay is going to be huge there. So I'd like to see a second Robo for him as well. For now, it looks like he's like, you know, I've got to just add more raw army units before adding those extra Disruptors. And Reynor, he's got a bunch of Roaches on the left, but a cannon and a battery supporting the rally point should easily defend the natural from small Roach run-bys. Hive is almost finished. Lurker Den's very late, though, so Reynor is famous for starting his Hive and not having his Lurker Den ready in just about every matchup. It's been something he's been doing for quite a few years now. Coach Lambo has been cuffing him over the ear and saying, "Cocky, what are you doing? Fix your timings. Why is your Hive always ready 30 seconds before your Lurker done?" Your Lurker done. Your Lurker Den is done. What can I say? Coach Lambo is a very efficient man with his words. Roach Ravager coming on in. He's going to buy all the Pylon. And, you know, getting an Archon there was not bad either. Actually, no, he didn't get the Archon, did he? Never mind. But Stalker's coming in. There's 1 Disruptor out. Second one about to pop. Melee, Adrenal, and +2 range. A good mix of upgrades. So Reynor, he's setting up to make sure those Zerglings are pretty effective as well. The Biles are being really annoying. And he's already baited out all the force fields. So the sentries are pretty much worthless now. Disruptors are going to get a few tumors at least. But Astrea has no map control, and that's very frightening. He has to shove forward right now, or he's going to have Lurkers on his doorstep. Already, we've got Lurkers making it 8 minutes 45. We've already got Seismic Spines upgrading over here on the third. No doubt we'll make Adaptive Talons after that. He doesn't have Hydra upgrades, which actually is really smart because he just wants Roaches, Lings, Ravagers, and Lurkers. Reynor's realizing, hey, too many people try to get Hydra upgrades, Vipers, and Lurkers and Lurker upgrades all at once. They end up just being a bit too vulnerable because of that. Now, is he being too greedy? He might be. He's going for a giant Roach run by the Void Ray. Oh, oh, beautiful spready there from Reynor at the last second. I was like, oh my god, this is so sick. Astrea's going to try and push forward in the front. He's got to be careful. There's a lot of lings and a lot of lurkers. The Void Ray will, of course, eventually clean these up, but it will take a while. Zealot warp in, Stalker there. Stalker's coming in from the natural, and the cannon doing what it can. Looks like I think Astrea will defend this with minimal economy losses. Oh, lurkers there. He's got to be careful. It's only 3, though. He could actually move in. He could move in there and win the game right now. It's hard for him to know that. He doesn't know where all the lurkers are. Look at that, attacking across the gap very nicely. Prism's ready to go in that main base. One big 10 Zealot warp in there would be huge. Actually, he's only got 8 gateways, and 9 probes did end up going down. He's replacing them right now, but Reynor got some damage done. That being said, Reynor's going to be knocked back to 4 bases here. No way he can defend this base. Just remember, though, Lurkers and Vipers are better than this army. He hasn't made any Vipers yet, but even just one Viper squeezing in when he has the gas is going to be huge. And the Lurkers themselves, I would say, is the better quality army than the Protoss one, given enough time and enough units. Right now, though, Astrea has more better stuff, because there's still a lot of Zerglings, a lot of Hydras that have no groove spines, so that's no range upgrade on these Hydras. You know, some Roaches and Ravagers, which aren't the highest tier units, so Astrea's army is better right now. Will it stay that way, though? Oh, and the classic Cosmic Sapphire problem. You just can't secure a 5th base versus Zerg. It's so hard. Protoss players always struggling to get that 5th base up. I think he wants to probably take it on the top, but there's a lurker run by Reynor's getting very, very naughty here. Now, that could be a throwaway. If Astrea quickly pulls the probes and handles this, he could lose all these lurkers pretty much for free. And as long as he's got detection, this recall could be good, but I don't know if he has detection. Oh, yes, he does. Recalls the Immortals, the Observers. That's very well done. Gets all those. Lings on the left are getting dealt with, but here comes the army on the front. Reynor's army is really small, though. Reynor, what is this army? Reynor is attacking right now with an absolutely shit army, guys. Astrea can easily deal with this. Reynor's just shoving in. I think he just realizes that Astrea's on the back foot, so he feels he can catch him off guard. But Astrea's a very expert player. You cannot get sloppy with him, mate. Reynor's just being fast and loose. He's not saying, I've got a better army. He's saying, I'm going to catch you not looking. Essentially, he's the smaller fighter. He's running circles around Astrea's big, fat, clunky army, punching him in the back of the head, kicking him in the back of the leg, and refusing to stand still. Because if Astrea's army gets hands on him, Reynor's just going to get crushed. His army's shit. It's Roaches, a couple of Hydras, a couple of Lurkers. It's not a good army, but it's mobile, and he's being really hard to catch right now. So that's what's really clever about the way he's playing. This Disruptor could be a big ball. Watch out, mate. Watch out. Astrea's not on A move right now. Looks like Astrea did clean something up in the middle. Maybe a whole bunch of Lurkers. Good dodge by Reynor. The Disruptor only gets 6 of those Zerglings. Could have been a lot worse. Astrea's just going to shove. Astrea's going to shove right in there. He's going for the Lurker Den. That Lurker Den in the 3rd base. I was thinking about making fun of that earlier, and I was like, no, you've been making way too much fun of Reynor's building placement lately, Pig. Don't. He's probably not going to lose it. It's the first thing that goes down in the base trade, along with his +2 melee being denied. Doesn't matter, though. He's got such a head start on this. Even though he didn't breach the natural, the 3rd goes down. The 4th does have a lot of cannons on it, though. If Astrea can protect this army, he might be okay. It's still mostly Zerglings and Hydras. There's not many Lurkers on the field. There's only 2. The Archons are huge here. Will they be able to do enough? The Disruptors are landing some decent hits. Remember, they do not friendly fire other Disruptors, but good Hydra control coming in from all sides. Still doesn't have the range upgrade on those. A bit of a mistake from Reynor. Don't know if it matters, though. The Archons and the Immortals are all going to go down, and that's exactly what he needed. I was saying if Astrea can just preserve this army, he'd be okay, because he can finish maxing on carriers, Archons, and just have this mixed army that's very hard to deal with. But as it is right now, he needs to be building Disruptors. He's only got 1 Robo, and he's up against Mass Hydra. Now, Reynor does know those carriers. A Viper or 2 would be very effective. Now, we've got +1 air weapons on the carriers. He's going to go +2 and pure air. Astrea? What in the heck? Are you for real, bro? I mean, I think just because he sees a Mass Hydra army, he feels like, hey, if I can get 1 or 2 big Disruptors on the Hydras, and I can get up to like 8 carriers with +2, I can beat this army. But there's already a Viper on the way. The Zealots are going to try to buy time. Obviously, Reynor has all the money in the world, and he's definitely set himself up for a winning position. The way he moved his army around really was the secret to success, right? And I really think this is the way you should be playing ZvP. You should be very elusive. You should always be in the face of the Protoss player, hitting them where they don't want to be hit, and then you scare them into grouping their army up. They try to fight you, and then your army splits off into multiple angles, hits their economy. Protoss splits up to defend. You regroup your army. You jump on one section of the Protoss army. You really try and deny their map vision, control the map, and that's what Reynor's been doing such a good job of. There's been Lurkers, Lings, Hydras running in the back door. Astrea never got that 5th base established, and then, of course, losing his 3rd and a lot of probes as well was a big bummer for him. He is up to 6 carriers, though. The Vipers aren't here yet. Oracle does come in and gets 5 workers on that left side. Carriers, oh, I don't know if that's the right move. There's a few High Templar in there for feedbacks. So he's ready for the feedbacks. The Disruptor shots only get a couple of these Hydras. The Disruptor's left hanging out there. Ooh, they do pull back, though. Good pullbacks. Oh, man, his Interceptor count's gone, though. Oh, he did have Storm. I didn't realize he had Storm on the way. Oh, big Storms all over that Hydra army. Wow, Astrea's taking the fight that he needs to fight. My gosh. Oh, wow, the Prism survives as well. He drops some Zealots. He's lost his Cybercore on the natural just before +2 air weapons finish. That is a crucial snipe for Reynor. The Lurker goes down. That corpse goes flying off to the left side. My lord. Zealot run by on the north. Not able to really find any big openings with the Zealot run bys just yet. Those Queens have a lot of juice on them. Gonna quickly drop those Band-Aids all over each other. Oh, he changes off the high energy Queen. What a bummer. I mean, he drains all the energy of the Queens, so they won't be as good against the next wave, but losing 1 Queen for all those Zealots, a very good trade. That being said, 8 carriers are out. High Templar is Astrea's whole thing. He needs Storm and feedback. If he can't feedback the Vipers and Storm the Hydras, he's done, but he's completely forgot to rebuild High Templar. Oh, this is the classic mistake. And now he makes them. It's way too late. Oh, no, he's just going to get abducted. That's it. Reynor's got him. I really think Astrea might have been able to bring it back, but 2 carriers going down there. And that is... Oh! He does answer with a big ball, gets 2 Lurkers, but there's still more feedbacks. Okay, feedback goes down, but an abduct on an Archon. He needs more High Templar desperately. Those Vipers are really Reynor's just a magic piece of the pie. He's got double Spire on the way as well. So he's planning to swap into Corruptors, realizing that, of course, Lurkers and Hydras and Vipers aren't the ideal thing against this army. The Lurkers are fine. But, man, you really... Like, Hydras against Carriers, you basically have to A-move and kill all the Interceptors. Not the ideal way to take down a Carrier army. Now, there's only 6 Carriers left, and it appears that Astrea is going to swap back into a ground army and maybe try and catch his opponent a bit light on the ground. He says, hey, I've got 6 carriers. I'll restart +2 air weapons, but I got a 5th base in the top right. I'm dragging this out to late game. You know what? I might actually be able to do this. Stalkers on the left side come in, blink away as well. Very nicely done, trying to extend their annoyingness. He does manage to snip this protrusion of creep off on the top side of the map. And, uh-oh, Vipers. Okay, good pullbacks for him. Stalkers on the gold base in the bottom. There's 2 Lurkers ready for a run-by that are going to go into his natural. 2 cannons and a disruptor stand ready. That hatchery does get killed, not cancelled. Units lost tab right now is 3,000 resources in the favor of Astrea, but Astrea has way less income. Hydra Ravager on the north. A couple of balls going to go flying at that one, no doubt. And does take out most of those. Lurker on the natural being a bit of a dick, as on the 3rd base as well. Now, luckily for Astrea, you can see they miss most of the units moving past them, just because the units are moving kind of sideways on that rally point. 1 Lurker goes down. And this one will take out a Pylon. And, ooh, very annoying. Got to watch out, Astrea. Just got to deal with it. Luckily, there's nothing else happening at the same time. But you notice that this takes a lot of APM for Astrea to deal with. He's got to either bring over detection or manually move a unit, figure out where those spikes are coming from, and throw the disruptor shot to deal with it. It's a very big nuisance. And you can see, look at that. The Lurker's actually getting damaged because Astrea's staring at the minimap. He's like, look, every other time Reynor's been distracting me, he's jumped on me somewhere else. So that's where Astrea's attention is. He's like, where's your army? Where's your army going to come from? Where's the army going to come from? I'm traumatized. And meanwhile, Reynor's just like, no, I'm just macroing up to Corruptor Viper, man. I'm swapping to a way better army now. Okay, he's going to see the Corruptor Viper. Oh, feedbacks need to come down. Oh, Archon gets abducted. There's no ground units there. He's going to do the double abduct. wait. The Archon's still going to try and walk away though, right? Oh, big storm. Nice. Oh my god, that's a lot of balls. Okay, Astrea empties his load all at once there. How very juvenile of him. Of course, he didn't actually want to push in, so not too bad. He will recharge. Be ready to go again in just a minute. He's got the single gas rich base in the top right. Trying to take this base, but as is always the issue, very hard to do this. So Warp Prism tries to warp in the main. The Hydras do take it out. Zealots win the fight though, so the Zealots get a good trade. Nexus killed, not cancelled. Oracle gets taken down there by an abduct. You notice it landed a revelation before it went down. That is the 2nd Oracle to die this game. There's a 3rd one up here as well. The balls all get abducted, but there's no ground army. Big mistake for Reynor. Reynor just abducted the whole army onto his, like, 3 Lurkers. Hello? Where are the Hydras? And where's the rest of your Lurkers? Where's your Broodlords? Reynor, Oh my god, he's still got lots of Lurkers and Hydras there. Hydra's in the middle of the map as well. Reynor, massive miscalculation. He's trying to make more Corruptors right now, but I think it's Lurkers that he's missing. He's got to give up all of this ground. He's trying to make mass Lurker, but it's right there. Astrea senses weakness. Zealot's going in the bottom left, unfortunately for him. Those 2 Lurkers left behind. Oh, he cancels his big morph and does catch Astrea's balls, but that's going to cost him. Oh my lord, Reynor, what are you doing? He's got enough of money to remax, but this really puts Astrea back in it with a fighting chance. Astrea's just killed 15 workers. He's killed 2 bases. He's killed a ton of Hydralisks. And Reynor here just getting cocky. He's building roaches right now, trying to get some tankier units on the front line. But yeah, he really, I mean, abducting into like 3 Lurkers. That's a little bit of a silly maneuver. And oh my god, so many balls coming forward. The Archons are devastating. He does abduct and one-shot a carrier, but he takes a few Archon volleys. Those Corruptors are a bit worse for wear. Storms are ready as well. I think right now he has 3 Psy Storms available. Indeed, make that 4. And yeah, he has 4 Psy Storms available. Here we go. Corruptors coming in from the rear, though. In the rear, Storms do land. The Corruptors and the Vipers very heavily wounded. Reynor has got to be hitting himself right now. What has he done in this game? He has gone from a kind of rough position to working into a massive advantage. And now he is letting it slip away. The Disruptors do manage to get in there a little bit. Another carrier gets abducted. The Void Rays and the Archons fighting. Another Void Ray gets tagged as well. I wouldn't mind Astrea just moving south here. If he can break that position, it'll be great. But if he can't break that position, it will be tough. Oracle will go down as well. Astrea is starting to lose a lot of units here. He's got to be careful. Those Archons. Oh, big storm! But another carrier almost bites the dust. It's got 6 hit points. 1 Hydralisk hit will take it out. Disruptors are zoning. Another hatchery falls, though. These drones, absolutely essential. If he loses these drones and these overlords, I mean, how can he rebuild from that? Disruptor balls go out. 2 more Lurkers go down. A 3rd one almost dying. Vipers coming in. Archon say, get out of here, you cheeky dickheads. There's just too many Archon balls. He can't deal with it. The gold base is still up. A lot of those drones did survive. Hats off to Reynor for keeping those up. And trying to just move on down is Astrea. Where is his extra High Templar? I've got to ask the question. He's warped in 6 of them, but they're not out yet. Another carrier bites the dust. He's going to have to be rebuilding those, is Astrea. Those carriers are the real important part of the puzzle, but another carrier gets abducted. I'd like to see him pull these carriers behind his army. I really think if he could pull these carriers behind his army, he'd be good. The Corruptor's going to go across the map for a bit of a PP. 3 more Corruptors are on the way, on the ground. He's got 2 Lurkers, 9 Roaches, and 5 Hydras. I mean, there's a lot of Corruptors, but Astrea can absolutely just go kill him now. If he lets Reynor back into this game from here, then this truly will be the seesaw match. This would be the match where both players are like, hey, son, do you want to play catch? And they're just pegging that baseball back and forth to each other. Well, that Immortal does go down on the other side of the map. Okay, Zealots are going to take out 4 more drones. He's got a big army. Sees this base up here is Reynor's economic lifeline. Mining way more money himself. We've got 3 carriers out with 3 more coming in. Plus 3 air weapons, plus 2 shields, plus 1 air armor on the way. Plenty of cannons on the north. The bottom base is finally established. We've got an observer there. A Zealot there. He's got an observer in his army as well. No Vipers here or anything like that. And watch out for the balls. Oh, big storms, big balls. That's the way they play. Oh, man. And big storms land to finish Astrea. Wow. He was not expecting to win that game, dude. He was down 50-60 supply a few times in a very bad spot. But Reynor swapping over to Corruptors and getting caught in the middle of a swap without enough units on the ground. Plenty of Corruptor Vipers started winning in the air. And he suddenly just had nothing. No Lurkers left on the ground. Astrea takes map 1. All right. He is, he's got to be feeling a little annoyed at that, man. Reynor's in the left side now of Data C. Let that first game slip right by him after some brilliant mid-game movement. But, I mean, I do have to bring it back to the fact that Reynor's late game transitions, they leave something to be desired. Let's put it that way. Let's put it that way, guys. You know, I love the guy, but honestly, like I was pointing out the Lurker Den being late. He also built the Lurker Den out front his 3rd base, which is not a good idea ever. The Evo chamber probably shouldn't be there either. It's just because he's like, oh, I have an extra drone on this base. Let's build it there. And it's very, very lazy to do that. Now, this time Astrea has gone, is it gas first? Oh, I think this is a gas first opening for Astrea. He's skipping scout entirely and playing very greedy. Beautiful, beautiful opening here for Astrea. I mean, Reynor's down a game. It's only a best of 3. He's not going to 12 pull you. He's not going to risk doing that. Unfortunately for Astrea, this is what we call a shit wall off. And that is a full diagonal wall. So notice how if you select these 2 bodies, there's no overlap. The gateway finishes where the cybercore starts. So you can technically have a unit in between the two. And if it's a stalker, it's not too hard to position it correctly. Problem is, there's always going to be just extra room. So like 3 zerglings can kill it at once, which means it'll die pretty quickly. If it's an adept is smaller than a stalker, you need to be pixel perfect to wall that off. So hopefully at some point he does build like an extra structure back here, and then, you know, he can have a better choke point or something like that. As it is, Astrea messing up that pylon placement at the front of his base, and that could cost him big as this game goes on. If the pylon was, you know, up to the right, and if that cybercore was just one space to the right, it would be a lot better because it would have an overlap. Anyways, chrono boosting the adept. Stargate goes down immediately at 2 minutes 20. Okay. You can get the Stargate a little earlier than that, but he's actually gone Warp Gate straight away. Oh, okay, so Astrea didn't rush the fastest Stargate. It's still a very quick Stargate compared to a normal build, but because he's gone Warp Gate straight away, he's acting like this might be a Twilight build. So Reynor should know, though, hey, I didn't see a Probe Scout. You can easily go Warp Gate and Stargate at the same time, and I feel like in my experience, usually it is a Stargate if they go gas first, though. Definitely, I know Harstem used to advocate for going for a gas first, no scout with like the Marjorie build, the older model charge lot all in. Just makes even builds like that a little bit crisper. So definitely advantages with any build order. Not sure what Reynor's going to read into this. We'll keep an eye on it. I feel like his standard play has such good vision, good queen counts, that he's pretty solid. And I don't think Astrea's going to hide the Oracle. I think he's just going to go straight across the map. The Adepts are here at the front. Now, seeing 8 Zerglings, you know your Adepts have already done enough damage because you force them to build a lot of units that aren't going to do anything, right? Those are not drones. They're not mining. You go, cool. He's respected it. He's built enough Zerglings. If he's only got 2 or 4 Zerglings, you might shade in and hang around with these Adepts and say, hey, you're being greedy. You're building extra drones. I need to do damage. But that's kind of the 101 of scouting versus Zerg. And I try to mix this stuff into my casts when there's not much else happening, just to give you guys a bit more theory understanding, whether you play or not. It's that idea of, if you get over there and the Zerg has no defense, those Adepts kind of need to kill a whole bunch of workers. But in this situation, Reynor builds pretty much exactly the appropriate number of units. Protoss backs off. Zerg goes across, 2 Adepts sitting there guarding the 3rd. Appropriate defense, backs off. So they're both constantly just kind of poking out and trying to feel each other out, look for weakness. And because they're so solid, they're not catching any weakness just yet. Now, that's a pretty quick Twilight coming down, 4 minutes. 3rd gas as well. Could turn into a big blink all-in. I would not be surprised. Astrea up a game. He does like his timing attacks when he's already ahead in a series. And those 2 Oracles are going to come in. He hasn't done any damage yet, and the Queens are beautifully positioned. Very well done here. Reynor's all over it, man. The Overlord poking in. He sees a gas missing there. Okay, the Overlord does go down. Very good to deny that. Oracle flies in. Pulls the drones away. You can see Reynor pulled them away from the top side of the mineral line, though. The Oracles are just moving around, and this is something I've been getting better and better at. The more I use Oracles, the more I'm just like floating around, in, out, in, out, in, out, and just forcing those Queens around often makes your opponent miss injects, and at some point, there's usually a weakness, an opening. Now, in this game, there isn't, but that's because he's built 7 Queens and 3 Spore Crawlers. Once again, appropriate levels of defense. And even then, he's going to leave an opening on this 3rd. Only sending the full hit point Oracle, but still, ends up getting 3 drones, and forcing an immense amount of anti-air. 7 Queens and a Spore Crawler in each base. No corners being cut by Reynor. And still finding 3 drones and keeping both Oracles alive. Astrea's happy with that. He's going Blink and he's chronoing it. I told you guys, he's going to go for a big 3-base Blink timing. So he's not taking a 4th gas. No Forge. So the problem Astrea's having is he doesn't have a Robo or a forward pylon. He's gonna... Okay, Oracle's clean up some creep on the right. I'll update you guys on that in a moment. But this feels like an all-in from him. I'm just not sure where it's going. Adepts get into the mineral line. He gets 1 drone. Does he get a 2nd? Yep. Can he get a 3rd one? The Queen's not helping out there. Oh, very nice. Getting 3 drones. Almost gets a 4th one. And Stalker's coming down that right side. He's building a Forge and an extra gas behind this. Okay, so maybe it's not an all-in. He is going to take a 4th. It's a heavy blink pressure, though. He gets 1 Queen. He gets a 2nd Queen. Oracles are here as well. He's going to take out that Overlord. Stasis Trap starting to get layered down behind this. Very nice. He's going to be able to take out that Creep Tumor, which will, of course, make it much harder for these Queens. He should have clicked on the Creep Tumor. Slight mistake there from Astrea. Of course, he's got the macro coming in behind it. Still has not targeted that. And I do think that's a bit of a mistake. Yeah, that Creep Tumor is going to survive now. The Revelation's going to wear off any second now. Wait. Oh, no. The Stalker's access. You know, they end up getting it. The Ling's coming out trying to defend. He's got to keep this 4th alive. Good movement on the Zerglings for Reynor. Does manage to keep that up. Equal workers on both sides. Melee upgrade is about to kick in. This is still a very scary moment. Those Queens are tanky. That hatchery, though, is down to just 500 hit points. Overlord's accidentally coming in. One queen on high energy goes down. Another one does as well. 2 queens falling there. Actually, sorry, I think it was only one. That transfuse did land at the last second. And Nexus is up on the 4th. Charge coming up. Up 5 workers. But Zergling Runby is going to go across the map. And Astrea doesn't have anything there. So it looks like they're going to trade 4th bases is what I'd imagine. Oh, if Reynor can defend this and kill the 4th of Astrea, that would be huge. Oh, the Lings are going to get in there. Pylons, probes, all in the open. Now Astrea's got a micro on 2 sides at once. He's sending the Oracles back there. They will get there in time. He's warping some Zealots in to try and buy time. Can he survive, though? Uh-oh, the probes are in the open. The probes are in the open. Oh, no. And the Oracles are out of energy. One of them does have enough energy to deal with this. The Stalker's warping in, but 10 probes going down. Massive damage. Reynor finds the damage on the counter. Really well done. Very, very well done. The Oracle out of energy here. The Zealot finally cleans it up, but that was a lot of damage, and 4 Stalkers have now gone down. Astrea's got to keep using this position, but look at this. Reynor moves out. He's got roach speed. He gets creep forward, and that's the most important thing. If he can get creep forward, then he can dance a little bit. But Astrea blinking forward loses 3 Stalkers. Big mistakes for Astrea here, who's going double upgrades, but I feel like Reynor has managed to survive the scariest part of this game. Remember, that hatchery survived on 300 hit points. Like, literally 1 or 2 volleys of the Stalkers would have killed it there. But Reynor just on the cusp of getting pushed out and 2-0'd, survives, stabilizes, and he's going to force this to be a longer game. It's by no means over in his favor, but he's got a macro hatch. He's got the extra evo. Oh, the Stalkers are going to get the hatch. Watch out. Oh, no, he's morphing all his roaches to Ravagers. Very well done. And, oh, good recall. We'll lose 3 of these Stalkers by the looks of it, but I think that's worth it for a hatchery at this stage. 5th base is on the way in the top left. I don't know if he's going to be able to defend that, though. What's he got? 18 Stalkers, 2 Oracles. The Oracles are low on energy. Yeah, I was about to say, he definitely needs to be building more Oracles at this point. It's a big waste of 50 energy. I actually think the Oracle energy is way more reliable than Stasis Traps for holding off your opponent. But look at this. Reynor is easily going to cancel the 5th. This is a distraction army on the right. It's really the army on the left that should be surrounding and killing this stuff. So he forces an Oracle to turn on its laser. This is terrible for Astrea. Oracles are out of energy completely. He's only got Stalkers with a couple Zealots, and there's Mass Ravagerling on his doorstep. There is no way that Astrea can hold his ground right now. He needs Oracles with energy to deal with this Zergling onslaught. +2 melee kicking in, and the Lings are easily going to surround that base. Even biles down a Stalker. Very well moved by Reynor. Gets the 5th. He's got his own 5th base coming up behind it. He's got +1 range, +1 carapace, and I love it. Too many players I've seen try to keep working just melee, melee, melee. And it's like, dude, eventually he's going to add Archons, go for a desperate counter push, even if the Protoss is behind. And you need upgrades on those Roaches and the next step. Now, Banelings are coming in. He doesn't have Bane speed finished. It's going to be finishing in a moment. Lings in the top will surround those Zealots. Zealots in the bottom right going to deny the 5th base. Okay, good moves by Astrea. He's got 1-1 upgrades, remember? So 1-1 versus +2 melee. Astrea does need to keep those upgrades going. And he also needs to get into some splash damage. Right now, the 5th base goes down. Zealots in the top still getting overwhelmed. He's going to need to go up there with a much bigger force. He's using a stasis trap again, but definitely the Ling mobility of Reynor's out of this world. He's got Banelings coming in on the right side. Stalkers they see it. Okay, they can get on top of that. Stalker's just going to blink on top. Very well done. Cancels the morph. Fair bit of money and a bunch of Zerglings are lost there. Cannons, Oracles, batteries, and stasis traps on the right side should be easily defended here for Astrea, but a few stasis traps get set off. It's not like Reynor's losing that many units in these scenarios. He's just got to remember to get his bloody Hive and Lurker down, and that's the big thing that worries me. I've seen Reynor play so good in ZvP and just forget to get Lurkers on time, or when he does get to them, not make enough of them, right? He wants to win with mobility and Lings and Hydras. Sometimes it's just make 15 Lurkers and punch your opponent in the face. Learn from the way Dark plays it, and really overemphasize those. Oh, there's an opening! There's an opening on the right side of that wall! Oh my god. Okay, luckily the Stalker warp-in does block most of that, but he should definitely be filling that hole in the wall. Remember, any hole's a goal for a horny, hungry Baneling. So you got to be really careful. You got to keep those areas closed off as much as possible. But he's up to 4 Oracles, and he's got a 5th one on the way, and that's key, because that's great detection for later, and it's really good for spotting all this stuff. Now, Astrea is maxed out. He's got 2-1 upgrades with extra upgrades coming in right now, and good pullback here as well. He's got some Zealots on the right, which I guess they can do okay in that choke point, but that's way more Zerglings than you want to be fighting at this point. Those Zealots probably should pull back. Biles coming down to try and hold back the Stalkers, but a few Ravagers do fall. The Hive and the Lurker Den are on the way, but there was about a minute extra delay on that, and that's the problem that Reynor has. Slow, inefficient late game transitions, Amazing mid game a lot of the time, but it feels like he only goes to the late game after you stop him in the mid game, right? If he could just more than once in a while just rush to the hive tech, if you could mix that in once in a best of 3 or a best of 5, almost head straight to that. Stop waiting for the opponent to stop you in the mid game. I think he'd be surprising and straight up winning against opponents with lurkers a bit more. On the other hand, he's got a lot of Ravager Ling defending. He's going to deny the 6th space in the top left. Stalker's in the middle. And Zealot's getting surrounded by Ling Bane. I think these fights are going pretty damn good for Reynor right now. I mean, the units lost tab is in the favor of Astrea, but the 6th base in the top left got denied. Actually, there's a 6th base in the bottom right. So I guess that was a 7th base of Astrea's that got denied. He's going +3 attack. DT Shrine. He's building 2 more gateways, so he's trying to get to 13 gates. Astrea's been relatively low on production this game compared to the gigantic economy that he's got. He's got a lot of cannon batteries spread across these bases. I really like the defensive setups, but Banelings could easily deal with it. Oh, Zealots in front will help a lot. Zealot cannon battery looking decent, but my god, that's a lot of Banes. Oh my god, battery overcharge. Not going to do too much. Astrea has a better army down the bottom. I just don't know if he can defend so much Ling Bane coming in. My lord, that's a lot of Ling Bane. The Zealots are getting absolutely hammered. Stasis traps do defend the Banelings. There's still somehow 3 cannons up. Astrea survives. Oh man, when you're defending mass Ling Bane with just Zealots cannons, you're frantically spreading the Zealots out so they don't clump up. You're trying to pull your probes away. You're trying to just wear that army down. It's a very scary interaction. Adrenal Glands will be finishing as well as +2 range. Still no lurker upgrades. I mean, actually, no, sorry, 1 lurker upgrade, but no actual lurkers on the field. The Zealots coming in. Is Reynor leaving this too late? He might be, but good Zerglings surround. His Zergling Baneling is controlling the map pretty well. Astrea's going to shove forward. Oh, just Ravagers. Oh, this is an army he can definitely deal with. The Oracles, yeah, I think he could go for it. Dude, he's got like 10 Oracles there. He can just turn his lasers on and win against this army. The Oracles turn on their lasers. The Stalkers blink forward. Nice moves. Oh, good bios by Reynor. Takes out 1 or 2 of the Oracles. That base will get ransacked, but at the same time, Astrea is going to lose the top left base. That was his 5th base that went down. He's still got the 6th base in the bottom right, but he's lost 20 workers there. That being said, he takes out an even more important base for Reynor. The Oracles going in, taking out the Queens, taking out the Ravagers. Biles trying to come down. The Oracles are out of juice, but not before they've done a lot of damage. Oh no, mass Zerglings find the Stalkers though. And the Oracle's out of energy. Both sides have lost about 20 workers in this ordeal. But what the hell's left over? Mass Ling, a couple of Hydras versus what? A handful of Stalkers and 7 Oracles that are dry on energy. These Oracles are out of juice. My god! The mass +2/1 Adrenal Zerglings just run in, overwhelm the battery, the cannons, the Stalkers. They don't give a crap. DTs are trying to warp in, but my god! It's just a mass Zergling swing across the map. Reynor finds massive damage with it. The DT's finally defending. But my god, that was a very successful wave for him. I don't know, as the dust settles, who is ahead, who is behind. Reynor has this top left base, and that's very important. He's got only 4 mineral patches there. 4 of the mineral patches here will last for another minute or 2, about 2 minutes. So he's got a full base and then 2 half bases. I guess he's still even got a bit of minerals in his main, actually. So, yeah, he's all right. And Astrea's, of course, got, what, half a base, and another full base. So, very similar in terms of available minerals. Astrea has a lot more mining available, but his army cannot deal with lurkers. Zealots and Archons can't deal with lurkers. He's got 7 Oracles. And there's only 13 Hydras, and he doesn't have Groove Spines. Reynor, is this a conscious decision to skip the range upgrade on the Hydras? It might be. He's done it both games in a row so far. Oh, it feels like his army's just a bit bigger, though, right? That cannon going down, battery overcharge is going to kill a few Zerglings, but I don't know, man. He's trying to do more run-bys than anything is Astrea, and that might be the best way to do it, because the Lurkers are just so good sieged up. Much like a siege tank army. Oh, the Oracle's just 2-shot a Lurker! How often do you see Lurkers get 2-shot by Oracles? That is madness. The Hydras are getting gunned down by the Oracles as well. The Lurkers, the Hydras will come back. The Oracles killing a lot of drones, Zerglings, all of that stuff. A lot of the drones do get away. They're going to fly to the top left. The Archon Zealot trading very well. But there's 2 Lurkers behind his 6th base. Oh, great move for Reynor. I thought Reynor was getting the worst end of this, but those 2 Oracles, I think, make it okay for him. He should be able to survive. He cleans up the Archons and the Zealots very efficiently at the tail end of that. The Archon's unable to squeeze through these wall-offs. 3 of the Oracles, 4 of the Oracles try to escape, and nicely done by Reynor. He gets one of them. One of those Oracles does survive. Oracle's going to come in and tag this. The Zealots will be able to take care of that, but not before a massive amount of mining time's lost. He's mining from the bottom right, and you got to look at it and say Astrea has a better income. He has more workers. This is amazing for him. The moment he resets his workers, just give him a 2-minute breather. Reynor's like, 2-minute breather? Get out! I'm going to win the game right now. I have 30 army supply lead. Why would I give you a breather right now? Oh, he walks into a stasis. That's not good. But the Zealots can't get past. Oh, no. No. Oh, Astrea's trying to jump on top, but there's 3 lurkers in the back. And oh, no. Oh, trying to move past that was a big mistake. I thought that stasis trap might keep him in it, but he just loses his whole army. He thought he could squeeze past those units on the ramp. Not quite able to do it. And Reynor ties up the series 1-1. All right, guys, let's go. We've got Reynor in the top right side of the map. And in the bottom left, we've got Astrea. Good comeback for Reynor in this series, as, yeah, it definitely felt like things were getting a little bit messy for him, a little bit nasty. But he's going to hold on. Waterfall is an interesting map because there are a lot of wide open spaces. Very good for Zerg units to engage. On the other hand, takes about 6 seconds for Protoss to walk across this map with Adepts. So Adepts, you know, also just like robo timings are actually quite powerful. People forget to think of this because robo timings are so rare in the meta, but I guarantee you all, if Parting was playing on this map pool, he would just go expand robo first and just do a 5-gate. 1 Immortal, 1 Prism, bunch of Stalkers, Adepts, Zealots, Sentries, whatever. He'd just go and kill people with like a surprisingly fast push because it's a short map. You get over there. Obviously, there's some wide open areas which can be a little annoying, but I guarantee you he would be using that short rush distance a little bit. Now, I do think Astrea will probably play Glaives here. He's built his pylon in the wall. So you see, this is a classic technique, guys. Someone was pointing out to me recently, they said, hey, walling off with 2-gate against 12 pool is really bad. Because it's better if you defend with just 1-gate. And to do that, I was like, well, that's bad because then there's a pylon in the wall. But if you have the pylon next to the choke point where the Zealot's standing, it's naturally defending it from Zerglings. So this wall-off is actually the optimal way to shut down 12 pool, even though it leaves your wall incredibly vulnerable to, of course, follow-up Baneling busts. Now, not only that, it also means that your probe is a bit closer to the front, so you can also get across the map very quickly to ensure you're blocking their expansion. Not really an issue on Waterfall, but something maybe on a slightly longer rush distance map, like I think Inside Out is 1 extra second rush distance. That might be the difference between blocking the hatchery and not being able to. So just something to keep in mind. I've been making fun of Hero for these wall-offs for a long time, but if you do leave the choke point next to the pylon, it does allow you to defend with 1-gate versus 12 pool. So very interesting detail that I learned from Twitch chat. Shout out to Twitch chat Grandmasters for being actually insightful once in a blue moon. I love it because there's like 30 inane comments that are like, why didn't you just defend the Baneling bust with 2 carriers? Ugh. And you're like, well, are you serious? Yeah, I'll just magically make 2 carriers appear at 2 minutes. So you get in the mode sometimes of thinking all the comments are nonsense, but there's some real good studiers of the games out there, watching lots of pro streams, paying attention to the details. Robo! Oh wait, no, it's Twilight first. Okay, sorry, I got excited there. Guys, a little bit ahead of myself. I was like, he's doing the robo push I talked about. Of course he's not. He hasn't started Glaives though. Goes 2nd gate, then Glaives. Astrea, he's forgotten Glaives. Oh, he's going Dark Shrine. Okay, so he's going to be doing the 2DT build into the 3rd base. Now, this build can be vulnerable to all-ins, but remember, Reynor is not really a preparer of strategies. He's not a big preparer of strategies for the maps, unless he really is, you know, not super confident in a matchup. He's got 6 Zerglings out, but yeah, vulnerable to like a drone drill or something because you just don't have that many units. Obviously, you don't have an Oracle or a Void Ray out, but 2 Adepts and a Stalker should be good. Should be able to get the Stalker in the wall, the Adepts move out, and take the 3rd base. And behind this, yeah, look at that. So interestingly, this is all off 2 gas. Yeah, that's what's so efficient about the 2-gate Dark Templar build. Because you're not taking the gases on the natural till after your 3rd base is up, which is beautiful. And he's actually sending 2 Adepts out the right, 2 Adepts out the left, and then the Prism goes across and makes the other units as well. So it kind of still looks like a Glaives build as well, which is part of what's so cute about it. 2 Adepts go back to defend, or all 4 do, actually. I would love to see him keep those Adepts on the front. Of course, you're already forcing a lot of Zerglings, so with a guy like Reynor already up to 17 Lings he'll be at in a moment, not much chance of that working out. Spores are on the way. They'll be finished in time. So these DTs shouldn't really be able to do anything. Behind this, he goes for a 3rd gas. I think a Forge is probably next on the menu. And a Spore Crawler out front, but he can focus that one down. Now, Spores can root very quickly, gets a drone and a Spore kill. Not bad, or Spore cancel. Natural. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, no! Oh, Astrea! You should not have shuffled that Stalker back. Oh, God. Darn it. Oh, no. Oh, shizzle fizz. Oh, this is a really bad start for Astrea. Really bad start for Astrea. Okay, you know what? As long as he doesn't lose the 3rd, and he only loses 2 or 3 probes, it's not the end of the world, but definitely something that should have been avoided. This is always what happens if you end up with a choke point on the edge of the wall off as well, is it's a bit easier to abandon that because, once again, it's kind of a diagonal choke point here. Like, you'll notice that it fades away on that edge. Because it fades away like that, you need to stay at the front of the wall. You cannot shuffle back. You have to stay forward, and that naturally gives a bit more surface area to the opponent. There are gives and takes to everything, and with this wall off, yeah, maybe you're a little better versus 12 pool, but it's still very, very dangerous, man. 2 Archons are here. I don't think he's dead or anything. Don't get me wrong, guys. Like I exaggerated that a little bit. He did snap recall. He's lost 6 probes, but he's only down 7 workers. He's got 2 Archons up. Reynor goes for a 4th base, so I guess +1 range, getting up to 5-6 gases, roach speed. But no damage done, really, to the Zerg side of the map, right? 16 Zerglings, an Overlord, and a drone is not a lot. He's only got 3 Queens out here, does Reynor, but wisely pulling back, not picking a fight with Archons until the Roaches are there. Now, yeah, Disruptors is going to... I was like, I do feel Astrea needs something that's going to scale pretty well here. And, oh, no, he's like, leave my Observer alone. Oh, the Archons get a Queen. I wouldn't have minded him staying on the ground. If he could have got another Queen there, that would have only taken 2 more hits. Remember that Archons do a lot of damage versus Bio, 35. Actually, she would have survived with 1 hit point. Queens have 1 armor and she had 70 hit points, so never mind. I was thinking they do 38 damage, but that's only once +1's finished. 4 more gateways on the 3rd base coming on up. So the Disruptors are going to be the big explosive payload. And it is just Ravager Baneling for Reynor. So it's all going to be about, can Astrea land big Disruptors? Can Reynor dodge those big Disruptors? And can Reynor find his way into the economy of the Protoss with Baneling run-bys? Pretty good wall off on the right side. 4th base is going to try to go up here for Astrea as well. 5 more drones on the way, so it's going to be low 80s on the work account for Reynor. Stalkers and Archons pushing on forward here. Going to chase back these Roaches, but there's 12 Roaches and 6 Queens on the map. 2 more Queens, 6 Roaches on the way right now. And honestly, just pure Roach Ravager is going to do all right against this army. It's once the Disruptors come out that then you suddenly want to be a bit more, elusive as the Zerg player. Use some of that movement that he showed in the first game. We've already got Banelings getting ready. Does he roll these in slow, or does he wait for the Baneling speed? I'm not quite sure. Prism's coming forward. Hanging out on the map. He's going to go for the drone line. Okay, good chance to do some damage here. Let's see. Oh, no, it's just the Archons. And I thought he'd loaded that up with Disruptors. Never mind, guys. I was like, he's going to go for a big Disruptor drop. But we are not at that stage of the game yet. Adepts are going to shade in. They ain't going to find anything. Plenty of time for Reynor to react. But, oh, Zerglings did let them get in position. So, able to focus down at least a couple of drones here. Not the best focus fire. Only 2 of those go down. Dodging the Biles and the Queens. The Archon drop does pull back. The Adepts do kill a few Zerglings as well, so not too terrible. Archons making here, they are DT Archons, so very mineral heavy Archons. They don't cost quite as much gas though, which is of course usually the limiting resource of a Protoss player. Archons and cannons and batteries are getting up on this base, but they're not ready yet. And that's a problem. That means, he needs his Disruptors over here. Cannons will get taken down very quickly. And if he loses these gateways, that would be a big problem actually. Reynor realizing, hey, dude, this is good damage, man. If I can just lower his gateway count, that is going to be very effective. He gets an Archon. Ooh, 2 cannons, an Archon, 2 gateways. And Reynor just using the positioning very well. Once the Disruptors are here, he can't hang around, but he says that's fine. Baneling's on the left! Astrea with a quick response, though. I'm telling you guys, he's gotten so much better. Oh, run. Recently, it's really his handling of all the Baneling run-bys that has been the most exceptional for Astrea. Great blinking forward as well. Stops every one of those Roaches, Ravagers, Lings on the right side. Disruptors coming on in. They can drop a big ball potentially here. But another gateway's going to go down. He's got to rebuild gateways in the main. He's building 6 gateways right now. So I think Astrea realizes, okay, fine, but more Banelings on the left. Once again, probes get out of there. The Archons and the Stalkers trading very well. Lings in the mineral line. Battery overcharge does get activated. Astrea handling this with poise, with grace. He's trading quite well here. He's up 1,000 resources and the units lost. And the Hive is forced. Reynor does not have Hive tech on the way, though. No Hydroden. No Hydroden, no Spire. Which means he can't make Broodlords or Lurkers. Reynor is trying to win the game right here and now. I've told you guys this is his weakness, but right now he's got a massive supply advantage. Big surround on the Archons. That mineral line does evacuate, but that Nexus could even go down. Lots of Ling Bane running into the mineral line, dude. Oh, man. Good Disruptor shots are going to try and keep back this army. Another one. Oh, it flies way too far around, and the Disruptor gets taken down. That one's a big shot on the Zerglings. But 19 probes went down. Wait, what? Oh, he rolled Banelings in on the right side as well. Oh no, the probes go back from this base. They all survive, but it was on the right side. Banelings went in at the same time. And that little bit of momentum, all from that Stalker trying to step backwards in the wall early. I really feel this has had disastrous effects because Reynor is just swarming over. He's planning to go Hive just for Vipers and Adrenal Glands. Nothing else. Oh, not again! Zerglings running in there. At the same time, at the third, the Cannon and the Archon are in big trouble. Disruptor shots throwing out. Astrea with some very good multitasking. He's got stuff happening at every base at once. He's microing so darned well. But there is so darned well, and then there is an impossible situation that you find yourself in. I'm actually really impressed with how Astrea was handling the multi-prong in the chaos there. But the way Reynor worked those angles was just too darn perfect. Let's go back to that Baneling run by. That was kind of the icing on top of the cake, so to speak. You can see here one more big 11 Baneling run by while the army comes in the left. And that's just so bloody hard to defend, dude. Unfortunately, the Archon was a bit off to the north. He's busy microing on that left side. And that is a dead mineral line, that is. Oh, tries to pull the probes away on the gas, but they're still going to get hit in a big way. Oh, that's nasty, man. Absolutely nasty play from Reynor. I do think, once again, that Reynor doesn't really have an endgame plan, right? Like, he's got so much money, he easily could have been going to Lurk Attack or something like that. Maybe he was just planning to play Ultras. I'll pay him some respect. Hey, Ultra Viper's not the worst. It's not bad by any means, especially against like a very Stalker Disruptor heavy army. But just well played for him in the early mid game. And this wall off, as cute as it is for being a really efficient way to defend 12 pool, I'm still going to stick by my guns and criticize Astrea, Hero, and every other Protoss that thinks this piece of shit is a good wall off, guys. Take screenshots, clip this, send it to them. I look forward to hearing their rebuttal the next time they let Zerglings Baneling busts into their base and lose games because they're making subpar wall-offs. Just kidding. I do love Astrea, but I do stand by. I do think that's a bad wall-off. You guys let me know in the comments if you agree or you disagree. Is it worth it or not? Obviously, him moving the Stalker out of the wall was a bit of an issue. But thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye and good night.